Hi guys, so here we are celebrating Homeopathic Awareness Week, and I am Dr. Sheetal Bidri from Bangalore, India, and I've done my masters in pediatrics, and my special focus is on children's health, like growth and development, and building up their immunity to combat the recurrent illnesses what they go through during their lifespan. So before I dive into my topic, I'd like to thank Genoveva and Utta from the group Get Well with Homeopathy for giving me this opportunity to take part in their Homeopathic Awareness Week. So my topic for today is bringing up healthy children with homeopathy. So a little bit about homeopathy before. Like we know, Homeopathic Awareness Week or the World Homeopathic Day, which has been celebrated on 10th of April every year, is on the account of the birth anniversary of our founder, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. And what is homeopathy? It's a system of medicine which lies on the principle like cures like. So if a particular medicine is given to a healthy human being, he tends to bring out the symptoms in him which can help the same symptoms, if present in a diseased individual, can help him come out of it. So we as homeopaths treat the person as a whole. So how do we consider it? So we take in consideration the physical, the emotional and the mental characteristic, and try to individualize every patient and give respect to the uniqueness of that particular person. So each one of us are different. For example, if a mother is coming to us with, let's say she has 3 children and 3 of them also have a cold or a fever or a cough, and all of them probably would have gotten on the similar timing, but we have to look into each case separately. So one person might have probably just a rhinitis, and it is more when she wakes up. Another person, another child could have rhinitis which is better when she is waking up, or the other child is having rhinitis or the runny nose when she's better when she has hot water. So each one of them has a different symptomology. So as a homeopath, we look into each patient, though have the similar complaint, differently, and try to give them a medicine which is more suitable for them according to their symptomology. So simply said, we have to customize a medicine for them. So every child is different, and each child goes through different phases in their life, and homeopathy is known to show its effectiveness from a newborn till the old age. And so today I'm talking about the pediatric health. So let's see the different age groups what we can see during the childhood. So from the first day onwards, we have a newborn. Each newborn has their own problem. They cannot suckle well, they are not able to digest the milk properly, they are having diarrheas, and when slowly they start teething and they have dentitional issues. They can again have dentitional diarrhea, pains in the limbs. When they are growing, they have growing pains, and they go to the school and they reach the toddler age group where they are starting to learn a little bit. They start talking, they start making sentences, they start having small life skills, and slowly we have the teenagers and the adolescents. So each age group, though small, a very small period of time, they have a different varied amount of problems what they go through during each stages of their life. So again, we have to analyze and learn about their individuality and what are they more sensitive towards, what are they going through to have particular symptoms. And so in a child, let's say a newborn, how do we prescribe? How do we prescribe to a newborn who is not able to talk, who is not able to give us the symptoms? So here as homeopaths, we have to learn the language of their pain, of their distress, and what is the central disturbance that they are coming across. So we have to observe each child and interpret accordingly. So that again comes with experience. So for an infant, we have to at least know the physical signs. For example, an increase in temperature. Some children, when they have fever, can have increased temperature only on the head, only on the abdomen, only on the arms, or one arm is hot, one other arm is cold, or the arms are hot and the legs are cold. So each physical symptom can get your prescribing factor, the basis of your prescription. So we never forget to physically examine the child. We need to know what the child can present, if he has any eruptions, if he is going through certain abdominal distension, if there are any diarrheas or not passed stools, or you need to know if there is a particular cry what the child is going through. We know that every child can, there might be shrieking cry, there might be a dull cry, there might be a continuous cry. So each of them hinting towards a particular disease or a remedy also. So anything that can go slightly deviated from the normal situation of our child, of a healthy child, it can help us to give us a prescription. So the mother can tell you to an extent that these are the probable things what my child is going through, but we have to consider that every mother is sympathetic and worried about the child, so that sometimes her judgment can be clouded, and she can exaggerate her because of her sympathy or the fear what she has towards the child. So we cannot completely rely on the mother's history, but we also have to look into the physical signs and give take the observations into our consideration. So what can be the observations? I'll just give you a few examples of what observations where we can see in a child. For example, an infant is crying, and he's crying so piteously, and if he's not taken, if he's not held or he's not carried, he's crying all the time. So main remedy comes here is Sina. He wants to cry, and the cry is very piteous or very annoying kind of a cry. So we can get a hint towards Sina. And for example, another one where the child is crying and crying really loudly, and he's quiet only when he's carried. So once they put him on the arm, and he tends to stop crying. So this is something which we can see in a clinical setup. So these observations we should not miss during the prescriptions. And for example, in the toddler age group or slightly elder children, you can observe their teeth, their nails, their how their hair is, how their abdomen or the torso and the legs are. So like if their teeth serrated, Fatak says melorinum is one of the key remedies for serrated teeth. And another thing what I like is in Boger's BBCR repertory, we have this rubric called as mouth puts things into, and Merck is the only remedy there. So this again, the constant need of putting things in the mouth to a level of age is okay, but when it carries on, it goes on for more than what is required, then we can take it into consideration and see the other factors and see what remedy suits best. So one of the other things with constant rhinitis what children come is constantly boring their nose, and sometimes even they bore until they bleed. For example, in Orentriff they bore and until it bleeds they are boring their nose. So this again can be a observation. Or the look of the patient or look of the child, if he's puny or if he's very delicate, if he has if he's eating well and still not putting on weight, or if he's slightly on the obese side. So all of these can be a hint towards your particular remedy, not be the sole thing, sole prescribing basis, but also it can just hint you towards your similimum. So we as homeopath try to understand the child. When we take the case, for example, be it an infant or a toddler or school going, we try to go through their life history, how they are during the school activity, how they are when they are at home, how do they respond to reprimands, how they are able to take punishments, how are they feeling insulted, are they feeling scared about something, are they feeling difficult to talk to the crowd, not able to go into the crowd and speak in a particular stage, or they are scared of going in the dark. or being alone. So all of these things help us understand the child's individualization and their sensitivity, and how they can get susceptible to various things because they are sensitive to certain things. So first thing is that it helps us knowing the causation. So if a child is recurrently falling ill because the teacher in the school is scolding him or her, and giving him assignments or punishments which he is very sensitive towards, we can work on it. We can talk to the teacher, we can change the whole dimensions, how we can deal with the child, with the teacher and the punishment, or slightly modify it. And also know their response to parenting. Different parents obviously have different styles of parenting and disciplining their child, or even communication. Let's say, okay, I'm the parent just slightly says you're not doing this, and he reprimands, and probably a calcarea patient can go into their own thing and get scared about what the parent is trying to communicate. So these things can help us avoid. This is the primary prevention of the causation of the child's illnesses, and keeps the child healthy. So obviously this also helps in the prescription of the for the homeopath, because each remedy what we have different needs, different way of reactions. So we can differentiate the remedies. It could be a plant remedy, it could be an animal remedy, or it could be a mineral remedy, depending on their behavior, their likes, dislikes. We could understand the child and understand the remedy what they might be needing for their cure. So it also helps us understand susceptibilities. For example, if the child is going for a field trip or a school trip, and they are exposed to certain pollen, certain kind of weather, or the breeze in the bus, so all these resulting in cold or fever, or what is he susceptible towards, and we can prevent this later on. So as a homeopath, we can give medicine to help him build up that immunity to be strong enough to not fall ill even though these maintaining causes are there in his life. And lastly, it helps in building up the child's self-confidence and also dispel the fears what the child have. We can counsel them, and with the homeopathic remedy, we can also counsel them that these are not something what he has to be worried about. So overall, understanding of the child helps us in more than one ways. So let's learn a bit with a few cases. I'd like to share with you one of this case of an infant who suffered with severe sleeplessness, and the mother was really distressed because the child wouldn't sleep for almost days because of some sort of an irritation. So if we have to, you can just watch this video and we can see that. So this child was cranky. So he would cry all the time. This is still when he's trying to breathe, he's having some. This video was taken at 12 a.m. when the child hadn't slept for a really long time. Even the previous night the child hadn't slept, and the child also had slight breathing difficulty, and he could not sleep, and slightest sound would wake up the child, and the child cries all night and cries even loudly where the next room person can also hear. And on examination you could see that the child had a lot of bloating abdomen, and he also passed a lot of flatus, and the attendant or the mother said that even while he's having flatus, he cries. Even after he's finished passing the flatus, he still cries. So there is a pain that persists even after the release of the gas. And also on inquiry we get to know that the child has not passed his stool for a day, and that is not good for an infant to not pass his stools. So this gist of the case, and the case had a lot more things, but the gist of the case was this much. And on going through the repertorization, I could see that chamomilla came in through and through, and took up this some symptomology. Depending on symptomology, I've taken the rubrics. So we analyzed the case, and depending on the sensitivity, I had given him chamomilla, and you wouldn't believe it. Just 10 minutes after the first dose of chamomilla 200, the baby slept very calmly and with no irritation. You can see in the video, the child is sleeping extremely calmly, and he doesn't seem to have so much of distress or difficulty or that irritation what you see. And it's so beautiful to see how homeopathy helps and how fast it can help in especially in children. And the next day the child passed his stools, and he was feeling well. The bloating had come down, and subsequently in the next nights he was sleeping well, with the breathing started getting better. We advised the the parent a few maneuvers to come out of the phlegm, and the child is now 2 years and he's doing really well. He suffers very few gastric troubles, and there's hardly any respiratory complaints, and has a good growth. He's talking and walking really well also. So that's what homeopathy can do. It can come back in the initial stages and stop it from progressing further, and while they grow up very easily and very calmly. So this is another case I like to share of a child again with a few eruptions, and very severe eruptions. And you can see the child, he looks very malnourished, and his age is around 1 year 8 months. There were a lot of previous medicines that were given to him, and with no help, and homeopathic medicines with no help at all. So these eruptions were there since 15 days, and these were pustular, and it was too itchy, and throughout the day the child would just keep itching, and he had so much irritation. And on inquiry, he's 1 year 8 months, but he still hasn't had his first tooth, and the first tooth has to come by 6 to 7 months max, and he still haven't got his dentition. He's not able to sit, while other children in 1.5 years are able to walk and talk also. So his milestones were way too delayed. And on examination, we could see the observation. What we could see was the child was extremely irritable and stubborn. He wouldn't budge for anything. The mother said, "मैं तंग आ गई हूँ," and since the eruptions have started, "I am just tired," is what the mother says. And she comes to us in agony that do something. I'm just tired of hearing him cry all day, because the itching doesn't subside throughout the day by doing anything. So if you see the child does not budge for anything, if you see the video, you can see that the cry is so irritating.
फर्स्ट महीना से 5 महीना तक हिंदी में, उसके बाद में इसको ये 10 मंथ हमारे जिस्म में रहता
You can see the scalp is filled with eruptions.
टाइफाइड हो जाता है, पूरे भूख लगी है, ऐसी जिद करता है.
So that's how he keeps he's so stubborn, he's obstinate, is what the mother is telling. So that's the plight of the mother. This is how she says it, and this is how my life has been since the last 15 days, and it's really bad to the mother's not got sleep, because the child is so irritated because of the eruptions, and the eruptions are making the child so restless. And if I put it in the repertory, the obstinate headstrong children with eruptions during, and only remedy that came was sorinum. And more specific rubric where I found was obstinate headstrong children in annoys those about him, a boy with eruption. And that was something very exact, extremely exact to the particular case, and I did not wait any longer, and we gave Soranum 200 OD for 3 days, and after 15 days it was like, the mother was thanking us because his crankiness came down drastically, his irritability came down drastically, the pustules on the head started reducing, and the scalp looked much more cleaner. The child appeared to be much calmer and much manageable, and the mother had a smile on her face, and that is what homeopathy can do. The homeopathy can bring so much of a change in the life. And the icing on the cake was that the dentition had started. The child had started to get his first tooth, and it's all because of homeopathy. And now the child is almost 3 years, and the child is able to sit. He's got his right amount of teeth, and he started to say a few words as well. And that growth, that development in the child could happen only because the parents brought the child to homeopathy, and that's how homeopathy can help children grow better and develop into much healthier children as the time goes, as the days go by. And that's the child, very calm, and he's letting me take a picture now, and he started to gain little bit weight also. So this is what I would like to say. And with homeopathy, lot of children are getting better with their health, not just skin, not just respiratory, not just gastric problems. There are many problems, be it learning difficulties, be it behavioral problems, be it any convulsions, meningitis, bronchitis, or any sort of trouble. Homeopathy is able to combat it. Homeopathy is able to help them and bring out that difference in their life, that what their parents want. And here with this case, I'd like to end my talk. These are my contact details. You can write to me if you like this particular webinar, and send me your feedback. If you have any doubts, you can always write to me. And yeah, thank you so much.